Hello and welcome. I'm Saeed from StoryPlanet.net. Dive right into the essence of the most captivating books without reading them cover to cover. Whether you're on the go, at the gym, or just relaxing at home, we offer you a unique and enriching listening experience. Today, we are exploring the book, The Happiness Fantasy, a creation by Carl Cederström. The book, The Happiness Fantasy, 2018, argues that our modern concept of happiness is unrealistic and fails to fulfill its promises. By examining its history, we can start to understand its deceptive nature. Before we delve into these revelations, it's interesting to note that Carl Cederström M. is an associate professor at Stockholm University's Stockholm Business School. He has co-authored books like Dead Man Working, 2013, The Wellness Syndrome, 2015, and Desperately Seeking Self-Improvement, a year inside the optimization movement, 2018. His work is featured in publications like The Guardian, Washington Post, New Scientist, and Harvard Business Review. With 11 key ideas to unveil, brace yourself for a deep dive into this captivating book on StoryPlanet.net. To start, explore the origins of our modern concept of happiness. The text explores the concept of achieving happiness by deconstructing the prevalent idea of the happiness fantasy in modern Western culture. It discusses the history, premises, and consequences of this ideal, which can distort the true meaning of a fulfilling life. The text highlights questionable ideas and ideals that contribute to this distortion, including a psychological theory focusing on orgasms, a device claiming to cure all diseases, and a motivational speech that started with a controversial insult. Key idea number 1. The concept of the happiness fantasy guides people on how to live a fulfilling life. Creating a new document in a word processor presents two options, a blank page or a template. Similarly, the happiness fantasy offers a template for living a fulfilling life centered on self-actualization. By shedding the shell of an inauthentic self, reconnecting with one's true inner self, and realizing hidden capabilities, you can authentically express yourself and experience pleasure by fulfilling your inner self's desires, forming the basis of the good life. Key idea number 2, the concept of the happiness fantasy originated with Wilhelm Reich. Wilhelm Reich's ideas about the importance of orgastic potency and his invention of the orgone accumulator were rooted in his early fascination with sexuality. Despite facing rejection and expulsion from psychoanalytic societies and countries, Reich continued to promote his theories until his imprisonment and death in 1957. His concepts of orgone energy and the orgone accumulator gained prominence in California during the 1960s and 1970s, becoming associated with countercultural movements. Key idea number 3. Wilhelm Reich's anti-authoritarian ideas appealed to Californian hipsters in the mid-20th century. Reich's ideas began in California in the late 1940s and 1950s, influencing groups of left-wing bohemians known as hipsters. They were drawn to Reich's anti-authoritarian message, particularly regarding sexual liberation, intertwined with political liberation. Reich believed that suppressing sexual desires led to obedience and limited individual freedom. This perspective resonated with the countercultural movements like the hippies that followed the hipsters. Key idea number 4. In Big Sur, California, uninhibited sexuality was combined with drug-fueled mysticism. Henry Miller's influence in Big Sur in the 1950s led to a bohemian community embracing banned books, anarchistic politics, and uninhibited sexuality. This evolved into a focus on mystical eroticism and drug-induced mysticism, with the Esalen Institute becoming a key hub for countercultural thought in the 1960s. Influential figures like Fritz Perls and Wilhelm Reich played a significant role in shaping the human potential movement during this time. Key idea number 5. Fritz Perls developed the concept of the happiness fantasy at the Esalen Institute. Fritz Perls was a psychiatrist who developed Gestalt therapy, emphasizing self-awareness and empowerment by shedding societal expectations. At the Esalen Institute, he pioneered workshops where participants would act out their dreams and emotions to break psychological barriers and express their true selves. This approach aimed at self-development, leading to self-actualization and personal growth. Gestalt therapy influenced self-development movements in the 1960s and 1970s, becoming more commercialized over time. Key idea number 6. Werner Erhard combined human potential movement concepts with a focus on achieving material success. Werner Erhard, previously known as John Paul Rosenberg, capitalized on the human potential movement in 1970s and 1980s San Francisco by founding the Erhard Seminar Training (EST) program, attracting 700,000 participants. He incorporated elements from various sources, including Scientology, mind dynamics, Fritz Perls' workshop techniques, Alan Watts' teachings, and self-help books, with a focus on material success. Key idea number 7. Werner Erhard led rigorous training courses emphasizing the idea of a powerful self. Erhard's training seminars were physically and emotionally demanding, involving long hours without breaks, verbal abuse, intense emotional experiences, and lectures promoting the idea of untapped human potential. Despite the extreme methods, Erhard believed in breaking through psychological barriers to help individuals realize their full capabilities. Success, according to Erhard, is solely dependent on one's will and effort. Key idea number 8. Erhard's messages are still influential today, but they can sometimes result in victim blaming. Success is often attributed to effort, implying failure is a result of not trying hard enough. Werner Erhard took this idea to extreme conclusions, suggesting individuals are responsible for all outcomes, including tragic events. This concept has influenced Western culture, with Oprah Winfrey promoting similar messages of personal responsibility through her media empire. While meant to empower individuals, this perspective can lead to a lack of compassion and attributing societal issues to personal failings. Erhard's organization, now called Landmark Worldwide, remains popular with celebrities and corporations, continuing to spread its self-development programs. Key idea number 9. The human potential movement in the 1980s shifted towards a more corporate-friendly approach, stepping away from its radical politics. The transformation of Werner Erhard's self-development training organization in the 1980s marked a shift towards commercialization within the human potential movement. This commercialization involved a move from radical political ideals towards a focus on achieving material success within capitalism. The movement's evolution attracted attention from corporate leaders, leading corporations to invest in training programs. This transformation blurred the lines between the corporate world and the human potential movement. Key idea number 10. The human potential movement ideas were adopted by corporations in the late 1970s and 1980s. American corporations in the 1970s faced a workforce seeking authenticity and personal freedom influenced by countercultural movements. To address this, companies adopted language and practices from the human potential movement to create a sense of empowerment. This shift towards self-actualization has become a significant aspect of corporate culture, with companies like Zappos embracing individuality and fun in the workplace. Key idea number 11. The integration of the idea of happiness into corporate culture poses significant issues and is becoming more unsustainable. Corporations like Zappos aim for work-life integration, blurring boundaries between work and personal life. This trend leads to a continuous cycle of work and leisure, causing burnout and impacting personal well-being. The pursuit of self-actualization and market demands clash, leading to increasing challenges amidst an unstable job market. The fantasy of finding happiness through work is debunked as individuals struggle to balance personal fulfillment with professional success. In conclusion, the text discusses the evolution of the happiness fantasy tied to self-actualization and pleasure-seeking, originating in the 1920s and becoming commercialized in later decades. It suggests considering alternatives, like a socialist vision of collective happiness through solidarity and resource sharing. The history of happiness concepts has evolved throughout human history. Recommendations for further reading include Happiness by Darren M. McMahon. Thank you for listening to this summary. If you enjoyed this exploration, we invite you to discover other fascinating books on storyplanet.net. Don't wait any longer. A multitude of books, stories, and knowledge await you there. See you soon on storyplanet.net.